Salut și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție a emisiunii ZF IT Generation. În ediția de astăzi vă propunem să urmăriți keynote-ul susținut de Thomas Kolarik, vicepreședinte pentru operațiuni și IT și membru în bordul BCR, cu tema Cum construim un ecosistem solid de startup-uri tech, dar și o scurtă sesiune de întrebări și răspunsuri cu ZF, care au avut loc în cadrul evenimentului ZF IT Generation Summit, care a avut loc la începutul acestei luni. Vă invităm deci să urmăriți intervenția lui Thomas Kolarik.
I know both worlds, and I wanted to start with a story. And it's actually a story that I had a chat before the beginning of the conference at my table. And it's about failures, because this is one of the topics where corporates and startups are different, and also where our cultural background, and I come from Austria, which you can tell from my funny accent, and I think Romanians and Austrians are very similar when it comes to failure culture, which is there is none. So admitting failures, talking about failures is something that corporates have their problems with. So I'll start with a story about my personal failure. So when we started our company, it was an IT software integration consulting company. It still is, by the way. Yeah? We first, started in Austria, then we expanded to Switzerland, doubled our revenue. Everybody was super excited. And then we said, okay, we know somebody in England, in UK. Let's also go to UK. And this didn't work at all. Yeah, so I'll spare you the details, but we lost a lot of money because we didn't do our homework in researching the market. We trusted the wrong people. Then we let these people work without checking what they were doing. And then when we found out that there were some problems, we thought, it will fix itself. It didn't. Anyway, it cost us 150,000 euros. And I think this is quite a good price for an MBA. So I'm always, all my friends did MBAs. I didn't do one, because I paid my MBA in the expansion of my company to the UK. And actually it was quite a cheap MBA because we were 4 founders, and if you divide 150,000 euros by 4, it's not so expensive. I think the Vienna University charges you much more for that. So, and see, this is when this happens when you have your control in the pocket. Yes, we work with startups. Because I like it, because we think it's an important investment into a society, into the Romanian society. And I want to bring you some examples of what kind of startups we do. And you already saw the Kinderpedia quote here, which I really like a lot. So Innovex is an accelerator, and it's practically an educative coaching kind of animal. And customer experience first. I think those of you who know Innovex have profited from it, and I think this is exactly what we want. So we don't have a stake as a bank to sell you a loan or to take your equity. We want to help you, and we want to make sure that we prosper and we are able to develop ourselves. This is maybe something you wouldn't expect from the average bank. But it's all about people, how they see things, their personal history, and also what they think is important. Because development of a modern society, development of a modern ecosystem in tech and modern business without startups, it's just not possible. So maybe some facts and figures. Innovex is a success story. Innovex is actually a no-profit, by the way, in case you are asking. So they are funded by BCR, but we don't have a real say. So they are doing whatever they want, and they are doing good things, but they are not, we're not commanding them as BCR or anything. So you see some figures here. A lot of applicants, a very strict process, and what we are particularly proud of is that we have 170 startups who went through the process over the last 2 years, and we achieved funding of 42 million euro, and that's not a single cent from BCR. So this is co-creation. This is a BCR program, and why do we do this? We do this because we think that innovation is important. So the question is, where does innovation come from? And I have a specific view on where does innovation come from. For me, innovation comes from the differences. Differences in life, differences of viewpoints, differences of approaches. Think, for example, when you're traveling and you see something new. Very often we have inspirations when we see things in different countries, in different cultures, things we can think we can take home. And it's the same with innovation. How shall we be innovative if we don't have differences that we can learn from? And of course, this has some preconditions. You have to appreciate the difference. Yeah? If you just look at the difference and say, it's different, I'm not interested, it will not work. So we have to work on an open mindset. This is why exchanges like this one are so important. This is why it's important to talk. This is why it's important to have these workshops together for us as corporate and for you as startups. And, you know, there are so many different approaches on many things that we have as corporates and startups have. For example, customers. Customers for a startup, you know, you don't know them, obviously, yeah? Because you're focused on the product. Whereas corporates, they have a lot of customers. So, I mean, it's not a topic for them to think about the new customers, yeah, or customer is something unknown. So you have a known customer in corporates and a totally unknown customer in startups. That's one of the typical misunderstandings that happen when startups talk to corporates, yeah, because startups talk product, corporates think customer. But if you appreciate that difference, you can do a lot of it. Same is with setups. Yeah, if you go into a corporate company and you want to start something, yeah, startups have a lot of energy. Yeah, and they want to, you know, they are very focused. And we have this joke, you know, that in corporate world, you know, the first meeting normally takes, you know, 3 months to get to know each other. And in the startup, this is completely unthinkable, yeah, because you know each other and then you continue with the next step. So that's something where speed is also different. But if you appreciate the difference of speed, you can also do something with it. Because you have to, when you learn that some things take longer, you maybe have more time to prepare. You have more time to think, you have more time to educate yourself. And that's something that can also help us to be more innovative. And a lot of other examples. So having a culture that appreciates differences, yeah, should set us apart. And I think we have this culture not in the whole of our 4,500 employees in Bachelorate, it's clear, yeah, because many of us have a very strict kind of working model. But I think in the management team and in Innovex and in the people around it, we have created this culture that we are also appreciating a different culture in startups, for example. What would this be? So let me give you 3 examples. One is Jobs for Ukraine. This was something where we worked together with Jobful. We worked together with Jobful. This was after the war started. And we gathered over 1,700 employees from 40 countries. And we have managed to match 500 people with their jobs. And this all happened, and we were able to set up the platform in 2 weeks. And this is not bad. Yeah? That's something that without a startup, normally a corporate cannot do. So here also kudos to Jobful from my side. Another example, we were using Jobful as well for our intern IT academy. So we had roughly 600 candidates on that one, and we did a pre-screening, we did a pre-testing of our applicants, and we totally did this anonymized. So that's something where fairness, in a sense of nobody knows who is behind the profile. It was the first time that we used that in IT. And I'm of the firm opinion that this is a very important contribution to more fairness in the working environment. For example, to get more women into IT. Third example is Adservio. Adservio is a school digitalization solution. And we work together with Adservio to offer schools from disadvantaged backgrounds digitized learning experiences. And we have proof that through this program, grades improve between 0.5 and 1 marks for every student. And that's also quite impressive. So, you know what that is. So this is how big companies work. Yeah? It takes a lot of time for them to take turns, but you see this tanker managed to take a turn. So how do you understand the tankers? 2 or 3 ideas from my side. First of all, you need to find the right person in the tanker. Because in the tanker, it's confusing. Yeah? From the outside, a lot of people are running around. From the inside, it's very structured. But it can make a difference to whom you talk. So take your time, do your due diligence to find out to whom you talk. Second, ask for a decent price. Because what tankers have, they have money. Yeah, I shouldn't say that as but it's for you. The bankers and tankers have money. Not all bankers have money, but tankers have money. And tankers have money, but the money is not on the table immediately. It takes a long time to get to that money. So it's a bit of an interesting game. You have customers, smaller customers who maybe are easier to work with, but you know the potential is limited. Whereas in tankers, you have a lot to put in upfront, but then when you're on the tanker, when you're part of the tanker team, it's good business for you. And when you do business with them, you don't have to dump your prices. That's my key message. Don't dump when you're working with a tanker. Because price for a tanker is not really the problem. Yes, you will go to some procurement process and everything will be very formal, but you will not differentiate yourself over the price with a tanker in general. Once you are part of the process in a tanker, so to say, you have been asked, you met somebody, you found out it was the totally wrong person, which is normal, yeah? Try to write the process. Ask the person, who would be the right person to talk to? Ask, what is the next step in the process? And very often people don't want to give you that information, so please insist. Insist and try to take one step after the other. So that's also something that you should do. And ask, yeah, if there is no progress, ask. So I asked you, what is the next step? How can we continue? Be persistent. Because big corporations, tankers, tend to forget sometimes. And of course, learn and adapt as you go. Let me end with a bit of a future topic. What I think is important for startups and where some thoughts about our favorite topic, which is artificial intelligence. And you know that what makes us human nowadays is selecting images with traffic lights. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, you had the chance to select traffic lights pictures, and that's something only humans can do. Huh? Otherwise, they wouldn't use it. In reality, it's a bit different. What I think will be the next generation of applications, the next revolution in IT will be these 3 topics. So we have digital processes. Obviously, that's something that all of us have. Yeah, we could do more. These digital processes create a lot of data. For example, George creates every day twice as much data as banking data that it has. So for example, we have 2 million customers. Everybody has an account in George. And the data for these 2 million customers is only half of that George creates every day. Yeah? Logging, behavioral data, a lot of security topics. So that's something to think about. So there is a lot of data out there. And working with the data in a professional way, working with that data so that we can really get some value out of it, this will be the next revolution. So for me, it's not like that AI will change our world. AI is, for me, it's something similar like the internet. Sooner or later, it will be there everywhere, and we will learn how to apply it. But it only works if you have digital processes, if you have data, only then you can use AI. And that's something many people forget. So what happens quite often is actually people start here. They start on the AI side. Then they find out, oops, my data is not really in good shape. I need to do something about the data. And in order to get my data into a good shape, I should actually digitize my processes. Yeah? So this is something we see very often. But if you stay in that order, digitize, data, AI, you can be part of the next revolution. And what else do we need for that revolution? We need clever people. So the good news is the basic techniques of AI are things that you learn in school nowadays, and we have a very good education system in Romania. If you don't, you can learn it. So it's about people. So investment in people, investment in education, how to apply AI techniques to data is, I think, one of the key topics of the future of IT in Europe and especially in Romania. And by that, I would like to end. So for me, the future of IT and startups in Romania is strongly connected with education. Education for IT people, education for non-IT people, and people who understand that this equation is actually something that is able to change our world. Thank you very much.
No, keep it. Thank you very much, Thomas. So in BCR, who should the people from startups be chasing? You?
Yeah, of course they can chase me. Yeah, you can ask me on LinkedIn if you have a problem, for example, or an idea. Yeah.
And now that you share this tip, let's stay a little bit here.
Stay this way. Yeah.
Did people come to you? These startups try to?
Yeah, we do. So in the old days, I got a lot of applications for full stack developers on my LinkedIn profile. So that this has ebbed down a bit now, and I get contacted by that. Yeah.
Okay,
We have to sit.
Yes, let's sit. Just for a few more moments. How are you looking at the startup ecosystem at this point? And what do you make of all the trends that you see? Are you optimistic about the development of the startup scene here in Romania? And
yeah, we see movement. We see movement in a sense that we see more investments, equity business. So you've seen it before. So we don't see a lot of funds coming to Romania, but we have friends and family. We have some partners from us, from equity partners. So I think it's the investment that we see in our startups, yeah, is doubling every year. So this is exponential.
And there is that question which is a little bit like who was first, the egg or the hen? But do you think at this point we have too many funding and very few projects to fund, or the other way around? Not enough funds for how many projects we see?
I think we have enough funds. We do have enough funds, but it's not only about funds, because if you talk about loans, what are funds in reality for a startup? You have mostly they are loans, and a loan for a startup is not necessarily the best thing. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends, of course. Yeah, but it's something that you need to think about. I remember when we started the company, we were very proud that from the first, we had a loan, of course, yeah, because we also didn't know, yeah, so we thought we'd need a loan, but we never used it, yeah, and this was very cool because we invested a lot into cash optimization. So it's something you learn from every household, yeah, how much money goes in, how much money goes out. So, and it gives you a lot of discipline. So not having a loan can also be helpful for you.
Looking further, looking at the future, and I want to discuss the thing from two angles. So the question is, what can we do, and what Innovix BCR is planning to do in order to further develop the ecosystem and help accelerate things. As you said, things are moving, we see projects, but it depends on if we compare with us in the past. Yes, it's a clear step up. If we look over the ocean, if we look at other ecosystems, there is a lot of catching up to do. So, what do you think can be done? And the second question, what are you planning to do in order to help this?
So first of all, we believe in Innovex, BCR, and we will continue our investments. The second thing is we will continue also to connect out of Romania. I was joking earlier when I was telling that I have two jobs for Innovex. One is to help startups, and the other one is to help Erste to understand Romania. And I think we have made a big step there. We have connected with our colleagues from the Slovak Republic, from the Czech Republic, Slovakia and Czech Republic, and they have small equity companies now. And while I'm talking, we have the first due diligence going on between an Innovex startup and an equity company from the Czech Republic. And that's not only interesting because it's about equity. We could talk ages about equity or no for a startup. That's maybe another theme for an evening. But it's interesting because the Czech market is then open for them. Yeah? So by taking money from a Czech fund or from a Slovak fund, you have one foot in the door of a country. And that's something that we want to become better in. And of course, the ultimate goal is to get them to Austria, which is the most difficult one, also for me.
So these things, we should expect these things to continue to develop and to have a seed starter looking at what's happening here on the tech scene in Romania and discussing with Innovex as we have seen in this year. Okay. What else? What can be done? What do you think it can be done, and not with very much help from authorities, let's say? What can we do through our own forces in order to accelerate, to grow even faster?
I think we have to keep talking. Yeah, we have to keep talking about this, and we have to repeat ourselves, and we have not to become tired in this thing, because startups. This is not something that you can open and close. Yeah, and I started with the failure topic. So you try something, you maybe fail, and then you start again. So it's this is not an event like we have one event a year. It's an ongoing story. So I think persistence is extremely important.
Okay, yeah? Persistence.
Persistence in the sense of persistence from startups, but also persistence from us as a bank in that topic. And on the visibility of startups, I think having an international acceptance of startups is something that, there's the old story, the profit is nothing in the own country. So if you have kind of the stamp of another country in Europe, this helps a lot. So these are the two things I would say are important.
And in terms of trends, let's see. Also, I'm looking at your other hat as a board member of BCR. I'm curious if there are any technologies that you are keen to see in the Innovex BCRs, or if maybe anything that is with AI is a winner in this moment. So, how do you see all this?
Yeah, at the moment, we have kind of an AI hype, in the industry, in the IT industry. And the IT industry is very good in hypes, yeah. But I think it's something that it has come to stay. So AI in its various forms and shapes, I think will kind of form the next 10 years. So like I said, I think what the internet was a few years ago, AI will be for the next 10 years. And it will have profound implications for what we do. It of course means that if you label your startup AI, it will be much more important. But a lot of homework needs to be done. Yeah? And there is this inflated expectations. There are a lot of inflated expectations on AI. people don't understand that if they don't clean their data, for example, they can forget all the models. People don't understand that data is not there just because you need it. You need to prepare it and everything. So everything that goes along this value chain of digitalization, data, and modeling, I think will be very important for the next year. So that's the cool thing in IT. There's always something new happening.
Yeah. Okay, let's end this discussion. I kindly ask you again to give some advice to startups or to corporates. I do remember you said persistence, be insistent when you are reaching out to corporates. What else? Let's end this with a few words to them.
No price dumping, yeah, that's important. So what was it? Yeah, it was insistent and kind of value the process, yeah. It can be very frustrating if you come from a fast-moving environment and you come to a corporate, you knock on the corporate door. And I can tell from my own experience, yeah. So sometimes after these meetings, you think you go crazy, but it's something that you have to learn as well. Selling to corporates, and the big ones who also sell to corporates. Let's take whatever, Google, or let's take Oracle. They know exactly that this is how it works, yeah. And so persistence in the sense of one step after the other. When you're at the wrong place, ask for the right place. It sounds like a stupid advice, but many people don't do it, yeah? Because we are courteous people, we say thank you, and then we say, we meet again, and then you end the meeting, and then it's over, If you don't ask, who would be the right person in your organization to ask about this topic? It's a simple question you can ask. So this was the second advice. Then please, on pricing, you will have to follow a process, a procurement process. Don't go via the price. This would be an advice. Yeah. And selling is a difficult topic, yeah? Selling to corporates is, everybody who's been in sales knows that. So it's something that startups also have to learn.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Aceasta a fost ediția de astăzi a emisiunii ZF IT Generation. Vă mulțumim pentru că ne-ați urmărit și vă așteptăm și la edițiile următoare. La revedere!